sideways into turn one and Della Freed's just come in and nowhere to go.
He's here.
From an inexperienced driver suffering from the difficulties of bent steel and frustration of mechanical imperfections, to joining the district stock car team, showing that he is more than just a solo driver, to his shining moment in front of a highly anticipated crowd, I show to you this man. Man with his highly decorated crew show there's more to this driver than being cool, calm and collected. Today we will watch them as they compete at the Nelson Speedway among other tracks for the 2013-2014 season. I bring to you the documentary of Michael Paynter and the 18 Performance crew. Now having stripped the entire stock car body at the end of the 2012-2013 season, inside the painter shed, all the men are hands on deck to prepare and reassemble the stock car for yet another season in the dirt. Men such as the leader of the 18 Performance crew, Michael Paynter, a second generation driver having all the credentials to take the steering wheel and follow in his father's footsteps. John Paynter, aka JP, has always had a love for the speedway. He may not have joined the Stock Car Club, but he has certainly had his experiences participating in 6 demolition derbies. Dean Paynter, father of John, Michael and myself, debuted on the speedway track as a stock car driver in 1990 and shortly after joined the Nelson Tigers in 1991, well known for having great success as a teams player. Dean Rand, the man who many people consider Michael's right-hand man, was never hesitant to travel all over the country to be there to help out Mike. The man himself, Stephen Gribben, aka Gribbage, is well known for being the main engineer of the crew and has a very out there personality. And last but not least, the mutt, Liam Field. Like the Paynter boys, he has an undying passion for wheels and steel, always there to have a helping hand with whatever needs to be done. Michael begins his opening meeting on the 19th of October 2013 at the Tahuna Beach Holiday Park Speedway, where fans can enjoy a great season of racing. The crew are all prepared for the night and Michael gets ready to be strapped into the stock car to head out for his first race. Also to hear the glorious sound of a stock car engine. First night of racing for the season. I was pretty nervous to get back in, but excited at the same time. Mike gets off to a good start, starting 16th on the grid, having to keep out of trouble and dodging a few stock cars in the very early stages of the race. Good fun to get back into it again. A lot of the cars are really up the game and are full on out there. But soon after the first couple of laps, you would find the stock car isn't up to its normal standard, which does take an effect to his racing. Though regardless of the issue, Mike would pass the checkered flag at 7th place. In the pits, Johnny, Dean and Liam scrape off the dirt while Dino gives the body a clean as they normally do, including the normal maintenance of fueling up the vehicle. Dean goes on to remove the steel plate and water down the radiator to avoid any overheating.
She got pretty caked on this one. Caked with a lot of dirt.
After refitting the steel plate, there was also an issue Dean and Mike had to sort out.
We didn't quite have the handling quite right. It was a little bit pushy, but in the second race we managed to get that a bit more sorted, and she seemed to be humming pretty well in the second race.
So once they sorted the handling, they gave the stock car the final clean, refitted the bonnet, and Mike was all ready for his next encounter with the stock cars. Everyone has a good start from the grid as Mike battles Dion Fisher for a moment in the inside, which eventually led to this.
The second race, that was a pretty right on full on. I only got a lap into it before Brent Goulding spun out down the back straight, and Dallas Murray gave him a good shunt, and he spun out, and I gave Brent Goulding a head on, and it came to a big halt, and then old Dion Fisher came flying up beside me and went over my bonnet.
The Speedway officials did come rushing to their aid to check if everything was okay. Fisher understandably got towed into the middle as Mike and Brent Goulding were still able to continue the race. Showing the damage of the big clash, Mike would try to redeem himself as he and 19N Adam Hall would be within one another's reach for over 3 laps. That is until they are put to a halt as number 11 gets taken off the track. He is off again as Paynter puts the foot down, showing that the change in the handling is perfect as he eventually comes 6th place. With Ketley Teese taking the win.
Luckily, we didn't get too much damage to the cars, mainly just the body and fiberglass work.
Come right through here. Hit him up here. Bumper bar. Smashed his that down. Yeah. And then going through the body. Jesus. The mirror and up through the body.
Were you the one that got rolled on top of over here?
And that wasn't the only thing to get damaged.
We thought the bumper came in and smashed the rear view mirror, but with actually looking at the in-car footage, it ended up being the rear tyre came in and smashed my rear view mirror.
And I also can't forget the damaged side rail, bent bonnet and a bent shock tower. But as far as the bonnet's concerned, Dean Paynter gives an attempt to somewhat straight.
Good one, Dean.
Yeah, wait, should have got ribbons up here. Here goes to John Paynter, build it.
Stop it. Good. You're killing him. You're really killing him.
Look, there you go. That's beautiful.
That's better than I thought it was new. It's nice.
After the final result, Johnny P and Liam fit the bonnet and Michael P is ready to go. Starting at the front of the grid, he takes first place immediately from the get-go. He boosts off creating a decent gap, keeping calm and collected as each lap goes by. After 5 laps, someone would end up catching up to Michael.
Ended up running first pretty much most of the race until till Ketley caught up. past me a few laps before the end. I shot past him again, but not long after that he shot past me again and got the old win. Yeah, he gets around that track real well. He gets around there quick.
So Mike ends up coming 7th, 6th and 2nd in his races for the first night back on the dirt. Not a bad result to finish the meeting.
Yeah, got the bonnet halfway looking pretty good.
Yeah.
John Paynter built the sticker fell straight off, so I don't know what that tells you.
Sounds like a housing company, eh? Yeah, I did the same time.
We are in the shed, aka the Schled, 1 week after the previous meeting. Father and son are working together to get the damages all repaired and ready for the Blenheim meeting the next day.
It'd be hard going, wouldn't it?
Murray Sutton fixes the bonnet throughout the week, and the boys fit the bonnet, the body, and she's ready to go. We get to the afternoon of the 26th of October, as Dean and Dino discuss and tow the Stockcar on the trailer for its last time for the Blenheim meeting because of the purchase of a new Stockcar truck. We are reminded of how trusty the old Stockcar trailer has been to the crew for the past couple of years and the good times they've had with it, towing it around the country. She's been a good trailer to us all. As they arrive in the pits, we see a great amount of stock cars participating in tonight's meeting from the Marlborough and Tasman region, wanting to enjoy another night of racing, including Andre Evans, who has dedicated his 2013-2014 season to the passing of his longtime partner Dale and unborn daughter Maya. The boys get their stock cars ready and take their business onto the track. As Michael gets underway around the first bend and boosts away from the other stock cars, by the second lap he was already at 3rd place until Terry Brown pushes him to the wall just as he was coming around the corner, putting him right at the back. But then he comes back catching up to the others and then to 59E, who, like Mike, is having some issues with the track.
It was pretty rough and pretty wet. The track conditions definitely weren't the best over there for pretty much most of the night. I struggled a lot in keeping the car straight. Had a lot of pushing problems and then a lot of spin out, so we struggled with getting the car set up right for most of the night there.
As the laps go on, Shane Howard from Nelson, who was allowed to participate with the other stock cars because of the lack of numbers for the super stocks, is in 1st place and would quickly speed up to Mike's rear end. Mike would do a good job to keep Shane Harwood behind him for over a lap, considering that Mike's car is a grade below his. That is until the stock car decided to slow down for some unexpected reason.
It was in the first race. Had old Terry Brown give me a bit of a hit there, and the split pin that holds the gear linkage in for 2nd and 3rd gear popped out, and I lost 2nd gear, couldn't get it in there, so in the end I had to hit it in there with my foot, and that kept me going for the rest of the race.
You thought it was? Yeah, I know, see in the bottom there. The track's just so like wet 1 minute and different parts of the track, especially over here in that corner.
Yeah, teeing it up with that tank.
Did it feel like it was pushing though too?
Yeah, times it pushing it, times it won't spin.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? You get the top there?
Yep.
Got it?
Yep.
Get ready?
Yeah, she's hauling going well.
Yeah, it looks, yeah.
It just pushed like the catch on the front on the straight, and then it pushed it with the spin.
Everybody was doing the same sort of thing though, especially with that wet patch.
I got stuffed up that's when I lost 1st.
Yeah. Oh, really?
When that tank hit me, and then I lost it, and I was sitting there going 1st, and I'm like, 1st, and I was like, yeah, it's going on 1st, it's got to be. And then I got it underneath the 3-4, and I fucking tempted to turn into it.
As Gribbage has a good laugh and Dino continues with the normal maintenance, Dean has a go at attempting to rectify the issue with the gear linkage before Michael hits the track for the 2nd race.
And that waits.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe those clips aren't so good after all.
Nah, yeah.
Get it hit the right time in the wrong time and pops off.
The race begins with the Superstocks taking charge in the front as Michael makes his start, taking every lap as it goes quite swiftly. As all the stock cars take the 5th lap, once again, the gear linkage issue decides to cause more problems, putting him to a halt. Moments later, he gets back on the track, but not with great speed, not only because of the gear linkage, but the condition of the track. Making the decision to play as the blocker with the drivers since he knew he couldn't make a good result for the race. Dean goes to retighten the wheel nuts and pops into the stock car to once again attempt to repair the gear linkage issue, which has frustratingly affected Michael's performance thus far. Third race begins with the same mindset as the previous race, block off the others. Why?
Oh, just because I felt like it, really. I just wanted to mix it up there a bit and have a bit of fun. Nothing too serious, just to entertain the crowd there. And yeah, just have a bit of fun.
He attempts to take on driver 469E for half a lap. With a little help from 27, they put the Eastern States driver in an awkward position, but then regains. Unfortunately, Mike does pay a little price by being spun out by the driver as 55E boosts straight past him. Mike would continue to tag along, still suffering from the linkage issue. It doesn't stop him from taking on another stock car just before the checkered flag.
Before I used to be able to run second and cut along pretty slow, and then when they come, I could take off.
Boot it, yeah.
And now, when they'd go like that,
Before you take off.
yeah. So I have to be a lot more
the revs
up
are
the
more.
revs, yeah.
As Dino checks out the condition of the stock car, the drivers have a discussion on whether to participate in the stock car soccer at the end of the meeting. Did Mike want to participate?
It really didn't worry me too much. There wasn't a huge amount of numbers there that night either, and with the whole track conditions and that, I was happy with how the night had gone and was happy to go home after that.
Before he goes home, he drives off for his last race as Gribbage, Dino and Dean watch on. Michael decides to hold back once again, play games and block off more people. He casually races along. On the 4th lap, he is approached once again by 59E as Michael plays defending game. That's until they reach the opposite side of the track and 59E shoves Michael into the centre. He finishes his last lap off by casually scraping the 480E stock car across the concrete wall because, well, just because he can. And then to finish the race and the meeting. As we say goodbye to the Stockcar Charler, we welcome you to a 1990 Nissan UD CM89. Knowing that there would have to be some major modifications done to this truck, Dean would begin to fabricate a tyre rack, cut some holes for the ramps to lock into, bolt on tail door stops and mounting on the winch to tow the stock car up the ramp. As some of the boys would carry out removing stickers, Johnny P would begin cutting some timber to build a little bench for inside the truck. Changing it from this to this. Having all the access to all the tools, spare parts, equipment and other various bits, it makes life a little bit easier for the 8M Performance crew in the pits compared to what they originally had. It's the 2nd of November. The audience from around the area have arrived from what is known to be the biggest meeting in the Nelson season because of its great fan attendance, fantastic racing from all divisions, and of course, the splendid fireworks display on Guy Fawkes Day. We are seen to have a great selection of midgets, young drivers for the mini stocks, and superb super stock drivers such as Craig Boot, Dale McKenzie, and his brother Anthony. But the big occasion for us today, first up, is the Tasman Thunder going up against the Gramouth Grizzlies. The selected 6 drivers for the Thunder is none other than 81 Cody Teese, 82 Keatley Teese, 83 Justin Hearn, 84 Michael Paynter, 85, the Reaper, Phil Kramer, and 86, Adam Hall, who are managed by Doug Morris. Their talent and experience have shown what it takes to join this team that will represent Nelson for the rest of the season. As we keep that in mind, let's check out the opening race for the evening between the Thunder and the Grizzlies. Coming off to a crazy start, Adam and Justin take two Greymouth drivers to the wall, allowing Phil and Mike to drive past the carnage. With Paynter pulling 38 GM away from Phil's backside, he would unfortunately blow his clutch while Mike takes third place from being at the back of the grid. As Justin drags 33 GM into the middle, the leader of the race, Cody Teese, comes around with ease as Mike nudges 37 GM out of the way to keep the third position. While he comes around the corner, the Greymouth driver continues to chase Cody until he decides to hit Adam Hall on his rear side, allowing the fast tanker to nail him real good, taking him out of the picture. Though his sacrifice was not in vain, as it put Mike into second place. They come to their fifth to last lap. There's a park up at Chuck Corner. Mike and Cody complete 2 more laps, and Justin finally reverses out and gets going with a blown front tyre, following Hall, who also has a blown tyre. In the end, the Tasman Thunder pull off the victory, with Cody and Mike taking first and second, and 687 GM taking third, with Mike pulling off the fastest lap time of 16.9 seconds.
Yeah, the team did really well, worked together and came out with win. Yeah, Greymouth did well. Definitely didn't give it away easy.
Yeah, because he did. Thought, well, someone in front of him, if they get in the way, he'll take him. Someone behind me, if he gets up to me, I'll take him. That worked out good. Yeah, no, fuck yeah. Very, very good. Good.
Since there was no damage to the stock car, the crew give it a good clean before the first opening race. Old Cody Teese gets a bit excited and puts the accelerator down before the race has officially started, giving some of the drivers the impression the race had started. So the stock cars end up having a round up again. So the second round starts off with a better start as the drivers come firing down the straight when they face another red light as 25N Peter Roach was faced in the wrong direction. The light goes green again and they are off, but guess what? Another bloody red light.
I was getting a bit sick of the red lights on that first race with about 3 red lights in the first minute of the race. I was a bit over it, but you get that sometimes. I just wanted to get out there and get racing again.
We are on the third lap as the Tasman Thunder drivers race each other as it's every man for himself. Paynter, who is following behind, blasting his way past the stock cars to catch up to his fellow teammates after being put 19th on the grid. He eventually comes 11th place and once again taking the fastest lap time at 16.89 seconds. Keatley and the boys had a few words to say about Cody after the race.
I did get bundling off for him, mate. Yeah, because I don't want to have him fuck his blow up.
Should just spun him out.
Hey?
Spun him out.
Yeah,
Nothing love going on.
Yeah, would have been interesting, eh?
Fortunately again, with the little to no contact Mike had with the other drivers, there was very little maintenance to do in the pits. So mostly everyone sat around, had a few non-related chats, and some weird ones too.
He's putting cheers in his sandwich.
And then I get caught.
Did you get it on video? Did you just make an inappropriate comment?
Very inappropriate.
You are so terrible.
Hey, you. I'm going to say beg for it, but you asked for it.
The third race comes off to a dusty start as the drivers come down the back straight, with Mike catching driver 687 after he takes the corner too sharp, allowing Mike to strain him up, thankfully for him.
Having the Greymouth team in the open races with Nelson fellas with Blim and Orphan. We all really appreciate those guys coming up from Greymouth, and just adding their driving skills and a bit of action in with the racing.
As he's tagging along somewhat peacefully, coming into his 4th lap, number 94 from Greymouth approaches him and goes on the tap in his left rear corner and spinning him out, distorting some of the drivers. Not only was that thought to be bad luck, he would frustratingly lose traction coming into the final lap, pulling himself into the centre. He would still get back on the track and complete the race, coming 14th place. Again, with the stock car left in good condition, it has left Gribbage trying to blind himself and the boys with nothing to do except muck around and for some reason blocking off old Dino.
Sorry, man. Had to be done.
It didn't work.
Time flies by and Mike gets ready for his last race for the night. The race starts off messing, very fast with some nasty stock car collisions. Mike then comes around the same corner to see 94 GM left in the middle, the same man who in the previous race spun Mike out in the middle of the track at the same corner. Oh, the irony. Then he gets towed into the infield. When things get going again as the Tasman Thunder drive behind one another, soon afterwards Mike runs into 55E with great speed after the Eastern States driver had spun out just beforehand. Coming up to the 5th lap, Brad Nyman from Nelson does a sneaky one on Mike, spinning him out, but then is quick to recover and back on the track. He then quickly approaches Andre Evans and continues to battle him for the front position in the last 3 laps of the race before seeing the checkered flag, coming at 13th place. Maybe not necessarily his best solo races thus far, but did a fantastic job as one of the runners for the Tasman Thunder in the team's race, ensuring a great victory as a team's player, ending the night using the truck for the first time.
You dick.
With typical blue skies, the crowd from the Nelson region come together on the 30th of November for the South Island Sprint Car Series, rare session of Super Saloons and the stock car teams battle between the Tasman Thunder and the Canterbury Crushers. Known for their incredible speed, the sprint cars have always been a fantastic attraction to the speedway industry, as drivers like Ross Troughton and former cricketer 10C Nathan Astle show what it takes to be strapped into one of these machines. Including rare sessions of Super Saloons as drivers the likes of Josh and Bruce Bolton, Shane Carey and 3NZ Ian Burson give us some great performances. Now we will concentrate on the team's race between the Thunder and the Crushers. Straight away, Keatley takes first position as 5C gets immediately spun out. 8C pushes Cody to the wall and Mike takes advantage with 2 Cantabrians high up on his tail. On the second lap, number 5 goes for the dash on Mike, but to no avail. That's until he goes for his second attempt.
I think it was about the second lap in, got taken out by one of the guys, which pushed me into one of the other Christchurch team members, which ended up breaking his diff housing, which took him out of the picture, which was quite good, but I got carried on, getting pushed into the wall and ended up with a bit of damage and a bit of weird steering fault there too.
Though number 4 doesn't have much time as the experienced Cody Teese nails him, putting him in the middle. As the race goes on for another 3 laps, the red lights go on and Mike gets informed of some news.
I was turning around to get back into the race, and I got penalised for hitting a car going the wrong direction as I was turning around.
The current order of the leaders at the moment are Lloyd Jennings from Canterbury at third, Cody at second, and Keatley at first. At what at first looked like 5C was attempting to hit Keatley, moments later, Cody would nail the driver real good. Adam Hall keeps up the good work trapping the car as the Reaper tags along. Not far from the last lap, Cody would fend off the Crusher driver to allow Keatley to not be taken out. We then come to another halt as both Brad and Adam had to be towed out. On the last lap, Cody fends off another driver to secure a well-fought victory by the Tasman Thunder, with Keatley, Cody and Phil taking first, second and third.
Yeah, so after that team race, ended up with a bit of damage there, so we had the old pit crew and all of us getting right in there to get the car fixed up. Ended up with a bent wheel gate, which pushed into the diff, which bent the panhard rods. So back end we'll sorting out bits and pieces there, and then on the front end, on the front right, the bumper was bent up, so getting that all sorted as well.
Liam starts with removing the wheel as Gribbage replaces the damaged right hand wheel gate. Dino and Johnny try and find a way to access the bent panhard rod without having to remove the wheel. While Tom, a new man on the scene and a mate named Tony, used the porta power to bend back the cracked front bumper. Tom Green, the youngest man in the crew, works for Dean Paynter at Dean's Truck Services as his apprentice, becoming a great asset for the 8N Performance crew, and we also can't forget of his typical laugh. Dino did eventually have to go through with the removal of the wheel, but it was much more easier access to remove the panhard bolts.
Beautiful. Does that make life a bit easier? Yeah, much easier. I mean, next time we'll just take the wheel off first, not try and dick around.
It will prove to still be a big mission to remove it. With the old panhard rod in hand, Dean and Mike swap over the mounts and carry out the fitting of the rod. After Dean sorts out the new steel plate for the crack, Gribbage gets in there to carry out the welding. Coming off with a good result. As the boys complete their reassembly job, Dean hammers away at the steel plate as Gribbage puts the finishing touches to the welding to complete the job in time.
We also had a steering fault there as well. The steering was missing in a few spots and locking up, but we didn't quite have enough time to have a look at that before the next race. So we just shot out there for the open race to see how it went.
Things start a bit slow for Mike as he holds back Lloyd Jennings, slowly approaching the back straight as Phil Kramer distracts a few drivers at the third corner. By the second lap, as suspected, there were some major steering issues.
Yeah, it wasn't long before I realised that there was definitely quite a big problem there, and the steering was locking up, wasn't turning left sometimes, wasn't turning right.
But it gets back on the track regardless. Then out of nowhere, he would lose attraction and quickly spin out right in front of the number 27 driver. After about half a lap, he would make his way back on the track again, swerving into the middle and continuously battling James Gowans. Eventually driving into the infield with the major issues the boys are going to have to deal with.
Take that arm off there and we manage to adjust it. We check the car to see what locked it.
Dean and Dino try and investigate the problem as to seeing why there is a steering issue.
I wonder where that tyre's flat.
As Johnny begins jacking up to remove the wheel, the boys have another thorough look at the pitman arm come to the conclusion that the steering box is poked. So Tom Green, Liam Field and Michael P begin the long and awkward mission of removing the steering box. While Dean gets Gribbage ready to officially repair the gear linkage,
Take the bolt out of here, this might give you a couple more minutes.
and this is what happens when you are in an awkward position.
What are you doing in there, Gribbo? You can't weld.
The boys have removed the steering box and easily removed the pitman arm in the truck.
Beautiful work.
Is this the new one or is the new one out?
New one.
Sleeper on.
Mike rushes up to help fit the old pitman arm to the new steering box.
Yeah, so that should be fully that way. Swing it on! Yeah, that should be it. That's that way. That's it, that way. We can just do it up lightly. Yeah, put the steering on. Just give it, chuck it in at that.
They race over to fit the new unit when they realise they forgot something very crucial.
Is there meant to be a spacer on that bottom one though?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a spacer on all of them.
Spacer on all of them.
Should be 3 spaces, yeah.
Who told me not to put it on? Oh,
But by this time, it was too little too late for Mike to hit the track for the third race.
What did we get wrong?
well,
Put some spaces in.
I asked if we should put the spacer and they're like, no spacer. And I'm like, no, it probably needs a spacer. So they're like, okay, put the spacer.
So why? Well, I wasn't even. So who was? So you pulled it apart the first time. So the motto, I'm kidding. The motto of the story is whoever pulls it apart puts the thing together.
Mike!
That's a good idea. So you got it sorted now?
Getting there. So the shaft is tightened up on it?
Yes, I'm 99% sure I've got it in the right spot.
It's close enough for us.
Definitely one of the holes. Shall I? Now we've got time. Is it worth undoing that and just double
Once you
checking
get it all mounted up,
Give you that ready.
then just take it, because you can spin it, you can't
feel
put
it
it backwards.
Yeah.
After finally fitting the spaces, Dean and Mike measure and adjust the toe. Then Dean goes to cut some stops for the steering and carries out the welding. Then everyone packs up to finish the night. Later on that week, we thought, we'd pull the old steering box apart and found that it had smashed a few teeth off. So there was the problem. We make our way into the painter shed as the replacement of the front bumper begins after its nasty crack in the last meeting. The boys porter-power the bumper and Dean changed the bumper tight to the stock car so that they can measure it to the correct specifications.
Right, yep.
Dean levels the bumper and Gribbage carries out the welding. It's the 14th of December 2013, the last meeting of the year, being only 2.5 weeks away from the spectacle known as the Stockcar Teams Championship in Palmerston North. Michael will be looking for a successful night to boost his confidence coming into the Teams Championship. As we look at the great selection of super stocks and stock cars for the day, it's time for Michael to hit the track. Starting 19th on the grid, he goes on for an astounding 7 laps, pretty much untouched, as he continues to pass a couple of stock cars lap by lap to get closer to the leader. Coming to the 8th lap, it would accidentally nudge Andre Evans, throwing him off course and passing him. Passing the checkered flag at 6th place.
Just see you on the steering box.
Oh, really? So you had to take the steering box out?
By the end of the race, I noticed there was a bit of smoking, and with a bit more investigation when we get back into the pits, we found that the input seal on the steering box had blown, and it was just pouring out fluid. So a bit of more bad luck was the steering box problems again.
To have easy access to the once new steering box from the last meeting, they have to remove the radiator and the right front wheel to get the steering box replacement moving quicker.
Yep, so that's ready there. So should we whack this on now? Yeah, whack it on. It's that one, eh? Is that right?
Old Dino fits the hose to the new unit, with some help fits the steering box, refitting of the radiator and the front wheel. After filling the radiator with water, Gribbage issues his congratulations. And I thought I'd better quickly mention Tom overfilling the power steering and Dean Paynter having to clean the mess.
Yeah, so once we got that steering box all sorted, finally, we never had any more problems with the steering box for the rest of the season, so we were glad to have that over and done with, and yeah, hopefully we won't have any problems with that again.
Michael starts up the beast to give the steering a test before heading out to the dirt track. Starting from the middle of the grid, Michael gets a successful start alongside 16 other stock cars, trucking along the laps as he is approached by number 93 Smith.
Liam Smith, yes. He's a bloomin' awesome guy, he is. Awesome driver, gets around that track bloomin' quick.
And he wasn't joking about that, as Liam Smith would eventually pass him down the straight after being on Mike's tail for a good 4 laps. As the Teese brothers fight it off for first place, Mike finds himself at 6th place, having a close call with Nyman as he is spun out by Keatley. Smith ends up taking the lead in front of the Teese brothers, with Mike holding 4th place until he is frustratingly spun out by 61N because of a flat front tyre, putting him right at the back on the last bloomin' lap. With Liam Smith taking 1st place and Michael taking 14th place. Not exactly the result that he wanted.
That second race that he won, he bloomin' deserved it. He was bloomin' honky. So, he's a great driver, good guy, real genuine. Get along with him good. Yeah, good stuff to him.
As some of the crew arrive, Dino jacks up the beast for Johnny to remove and replace the blown left front tyre. Soon after, the boys give the body a clean and have a peaceful chat with each other before Mike heads in for his last race. Mike obtains pole position and takes advantage as he puts the foot down, quickly taking 1st place as the drivers behind him struggle to keep up.
You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but I'll run you through. So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand, there's no turning back. The fuel sounds, the charge begins. But on this battlefield, no one wins.
drivers exchanging second place numerous times, Mike would take an impressive win after leading for the entire race. How was Michael feeling at the moment?
Yeah. So yeah, it was blooming good to get a first win for the season. Blooming I was excited as actually. It was just awesome. Finally get there, take that checker flag round. It was yeah, me and the whole team. It was good to finally get there.
And Mike also receives some congratulations.
Congratulations, well done.
Yeah.
1-1.
Actually, it was confident.
Yeah, she went well.
I saw every time I looked in the mirror, the second place person had changed. Like it was
Yeah.
Smithy, and then it was Lemon, and then it was Cody, and I was just confident. And every car that came up, I just kept full flat and just walked.
That's Carlton handling good.
It was never one time. I think I pushed once, just a tad, and never wanted to spin.
Now with a major confidence boost, he and the Tasman Thunder will attempt to make a name for themselves in 2 weeks' time at the team's championship. It's New Year's Day of 2014, here in what is considered to many the speedway capital, Palmerston North. The Tasman Thunder drivers and all their crew members had arrived in Palmy on New Year's Eve and got a good sleep to prepare themselves for the first night of racing the next day. But before they get to the track, it was scrutineering time at Town Square. With the morning and early afternoon being a lovely day, heaps of Palmerston North citizens arrive at Town Square to check out all the stock cars and their respective teams to see what will be in store for them when it comes to the racing. With teams such as the Rotorua Rascals and of course the Tasman Thunder being thoroughly checked, inspected and measured by the speedway officials to make sure all the dimensions of the stock cars and everything else is completely legal for the dirt track. And to finish off the scrutineering, the drivers had their gear checked to make sure it's all suitable and safe. As they arrive at the FMG Stadium hours later, due to the rain forecast hitting the scene later on in the afternoon, the stock car preliminaries was postponed to the next night and the second night was postponed until the 11th of January. Now, it's time to begin the Palmerston North Teams Championship. Fantastic day today on the 2nd of January, with a splendid crowd turning up and checking out the pits before the preliminary races. Being one of the biggest nights for the Stockcar division, 13 teams from all over the country participate in this annual event for Stockcar team dominance. Experienced teams such as the Stratford Stormers and the Palmerston North Pumas, who have won 3 consecutive teams championships, including last year. For the Tasman Thunder, this is the first time in the team's history that they have participated in this event. So the Tasman Thunder drivers will be wanting to make sure that they make a big impact on the track. As for Michael, he realises the amazing privilege of racing on this historical track.
It was a blooming huge privilege to race at Palmy. It was a dream I've been wanting to get up and have a race there, especially at the team's champs. and the whole atmosphere of Palmerston North and everything there, the track, the stage, the people, the setup, everything is just amazing to be involved with the whole entire thing.
The action gets underway as the Tasman Thunder are third up tonight, going up against the Auckland Alley Cats.
Yeah, it's definitely a time I'll never forget.
Things start off very tense as driver Gary Lonergan and Cody Teese battle it around the first corner with some back support from Mike following two Aucklanders. Lonergan takes Teese fiercely to the wall, allowing Michael to take the lead, but not without a challenge as the three Auckland drivers are right on his tail, keeping the pressure on the Thunder. Cody gives Mike some support from behind, approaching the straight as Phil Kramer battles Tony Baldwin and pretty much drives himself into the infield, giving access for the leading driver as Phil would get spun out.
Definitely nervous on that one, and ended up right, up the front right from the word go with the three Auckland cars right up behind me the whole time. It was definitely pretty full on, but you just get in the zone and just gave it heaps.
The third lap, Teese would pummel Baldwin to the concrete to make sure he's no threat to the leader. Still, with the three Aucklanders high on Mike and Justin's tail, Teese would once again take out Baldwin, softly taking him up the wall. With the officials pushing the stock car back on its wheels, Shannon Savage keeps Phil trapped temporarily and Baldwin gets towed into the infield. Lights go on again and we are underway with Craig Chatfield quickly approaching Mike. Cody would once again pull back and protect him for the time being. Mike would find himself vulnerable, almost being taken up the wall by Savage, but would get away with it to the frustration of the Alley Cats, but are still on the pursuit. Adam Hall would be keeping it casual as he's waiting for his time to strike, attempting to block off Troy. With only 1.5 laps to go, Cody would again take out another driver. It is the final lap. Mike and Justin have slowed down trying to figure out how to pass the last man. Mike would go for the risk on the outside and would intensely battle Gary Lonergan side by side, but would unfortunately spin out before the checkered flag. The boys are put to a halt and would restart with Gary Lonergan officially taking the win for the Auckland Alley Cats. Well, that's what we thought anyway.
There was a bit of confusion at the end of that race. The Auckland car actually passed the line first with the checker flag, but on that last lap I got put up against the wall, came back down and pushed the Auckland car onto the grass in the infield, and he carried on and pushed me from coming off the infield and spun me round, which obviously is a legal move. And later on after that race, the referees and that went through it all and we ended up with the win, which is awesome.
But what was going on with Michael and Justin in the end there?
I caught up to Justin part way through, and I was still in the lead with him in front of me. There was a bit of confusion there amongst me and Justin, but looking in your mirrors back and forth and trying to see what's going on everywhere else to see who is in the lead, and there's a lot going on really.
Yeah, I got my foot planted and I was just turning into him. And I nearly spun out with that tire popped, but I didn't realise after going down.
The Tasman Thunder crew are all on the case to deal with their respective stock cars as Liam Field starts with removing the blown rear wheel and with an extra few hands fits the new one on. showing the major tear in the old tyre. Liam would check the tyre pressure and the boys would quickly find themselves with nothing to do. Knowing that the whole stock car is having suspension issues, Dino would head over to drop off the gas plant bottle, along with Gribbage giving Dylan Hall a hand to straighten the bent suspension brackets in preparation for Gribbage to weld on the suspension plates. Tom would also help grind in the rear shock absorber mount. On Cody's stock car, his crew member would remove the left rear wheel to have access to their bent panhard rod, so Dean Paynter would assist him in replacing the rod. As time went on in the pits, Liam would make an important discovery.
Check her up there. Good spotting. Very good spotting.
Liam and Johnny would also replace the front tyre. Finding out that the wheelgate was bent, Johnny would have an attempt to straighten the wheelgate with the old sledgehammer. Attempt number 2. Okay, let's give Dino a go.
Right on that corner. No, I can put it there otherwise it's making it worse.
Let's have another attempt. Finally getting it straight after that drama, the Thunder get prepared, having a huge confidence boost after their last impressive work. Things start with Cody taking Shane Keels to the wall following Mike. Phil keeps Todd behind him as Justin takes the lead from the get-go, with Bevan Phillips close at second place. Michael and Phil keep up the pace, meeting up with Cody, then finding out that Justin had been taken out of the lead by 401, following Phil dragging Shane off the track. Justin would lightly rear-end 401 and would go on to blocking him off, letting Adam Hall around the outside as he was now ahead of Justin. Unfortunately, the Tasman Thunder had misread the situation as Bevan, Hayden and Todd have first, second and third positions, being majorly ahead of the Thunder team. As Mike takes 401 to his side, following Phil nailing him, they would try to catch up as their leader Mike would lead the pack for some time at 4th place. Unfortunately, with all the work Tasman Thunder put into catching up, it was a great victory for the Stratford Stormers, coming at 1st, 2nd and 3rd, following the Thunder at 4th and 5th. At that time, it was a disappointing way to end the night after a very successful first race, even with Dean having to tell the boys how it is.
One of those things, it's not one person, everybody is,
But there did come some good news moments later.
We were a bit gutted about it all, but we gave it a good go, and we were very amazed and surprised to hear that we got through for 4th, which was blooming awesome. We got some great points at Auckland when we were up against him, and we just scraped through with enough points through when we then we were against the Stormers on that second race, which got us to get 4th overall and get into the semi-finals, which was blooming awesome. We were all stoked out.
With that said, the 8N Performance crew have a good feed on the barbecue and we pack up ready for the next Harley meeting.
Semi-finals, I believe.
The Tasman Thunder crew returned to the FMG Stadium 9 days later on the 11th of January 2014. As things start to get real serious, the semi-finals are upon 4 teams who have proven to themselves they can potentially win this tournament to represent themselves as the best stock car team for the year. The mighty Rotorua Rascals against the Tasman Thunder and the Stratford Stormers against the reigning champions and dangerous Palmerston North Pumas. We are set for a spectacular showdown between these warriors as they take it to the track which may go down in the history books. And we can't forget the entertaining sprint cars for a nice treat for the night. The fans reunite once again as merchandise is sold and people are feeding themselves with good old hot dog. With so much to prove and nothing to lose, the Tasman Thunder, as many would consider the underdogs, have the golden opportunity to make the grand final if they can get through the Rotorua Rascals. I think we are in for an intense semi-final. .835 Damien Orr takes immediate control at the front with Cody Teese losing ground at second. Then this happens.
Yeah, for the big hit that I did on Rotorua, it was just an opportunity that arose really, and I just took it and just went full flight into it, and just kept on going until it was over really. It was full on.
Unfortunately for Michael, he was unable to continue.
The car wasn't too bad. The main reason was when the Rotorua car came off my roof, he took off my part of my scoop, or ripped the scoop right off actually, and took the air cleaner off my carby, and so it was really a fire hazard with the air filter off the carburetor and the fuel, and that's just rushing all in there. If a little bit of a spark or anything happened there, it would be a bit of a fire hazard. So that was the reason why I go onto the centre of the track. So I just shot off into the centre there, and we sorted it out after the race.
The race restarts with the Teese brothers getting a good start, quickly overtaking Damien coming down the back straight. Damien would softly take Keatley to the wall, allowing 2 of his fellow Rotorua drivers to keep the high positions, including himself, and chase Cody Teese. Cody would catch up to Justin and allow Cody to pass him to keep him protected for the time being. After a couple of laps and Adam Hall getting back on track, Cody would almost be spun out by adversary Damien, but keeps the composure and still in first position for another 2 laps. Unknowingly to the Tasman Thunder drivers ahead of Cody, Damien puts Cody's first position in danger as he would battle with him and pin him to his side, sliding him to the concrete as Brute Stewart and Chris Hall would pass to take the lead. Keatley and Justin would go on to pin 853 to the wall and would easily let off the leading rascals without realising they were in the lead. Cody's trying his best to keep the pedal down in an attempt to catch up. On the second to last lap, Damien would flip over Justin in a full 360 back on his wheels and would still continue to race. On the final lap, the intensity grows as everyone fights for first place. The Thunder would fail to take advantage as Chris Hall would take Justin to the infield. The race ends with Brent and Chris taking the win for Rotorua in an epic encounter by both teams. For the other drivers, Justin tiffs with Damien, allowing Keatley to cross the finishing line at third place.
The two Rotorua cars across the line.
The 8N Performance crew and Liam Smith immediately get onto the case, starting with removing the bonnet and Dino fitting a new shaft on the carby. Johnny, Tom and Liam get onto removing the front tyre and Mike starts taping up the split fiberglass body.
That would have been the head of
As Liam screws the nuts on for the new tyre, Dean Paynter begins the long job of hammering and bending back the wing and scoop back to somewhat normal looking.
It's just pretty cross there.
Yeah, it's all these boys are giving us some work tonight.
Yeah, not too bad. As for the other Tasman Thunder crews, Peter Hall would gas off the underrider bar on the front bumper on Hall's stock car as his son Dylan would straighten it with the sledgehammer. During that time, Justin Hearn's crew member Steve Hand would tape up the body after the big roll and Gribbage would pour the power of the side rail, including welding a side rail stay soon afterwards. With all the damage done to the front steel section of the stock car, Johnny would have a go at straightening the bonnet locator and hammering the sharp edge on the front bumper. Dino, with some help from Ted, would refit the straightened wing, assisted by Gribbage, who would weld the wing breaker. A new air cleaner would be fitted onto the carby that was originally ripped off in the big hit, following Dean, who continues to work with the scoop as he reattaches the scoop to the bonnet. Things are looking pretty good in the pits for the Tasman Thunder crews, with Dino starting up the stock car and giving the engine a run.
Might you get the hood on, Tally? Oh, it's good for you, isn't it? Good for the heart.
Tom gives the scoop the finishing touches, goes on to refit the bonnet, and Mike and Dino replace the cracked rear vision mirror. That's a pretty happy smile, Dino. Before the drivers head out to the track, we had been informed by Cody Teese that his back was in too much pain to continue racing, so Phil Kramer would be the best candidate to take Cody's position in driving his stock car, as the backup Liam Smith takes Kramer's stock car for the second race against the Wellington Young Guns for third place in the competition. They begin with Keatley immediately pinning one of the young guns to the wall, with Michael Paynter on the chase for the leading man, 51 Scott McIntosh. Into the second lap, Michael would have an attempt at nudging 56 Shane Davis from the rear, but caused a big spin out for himself, following 54 nailing Adam Hall to the concrete. With 53 Blake Elliott now in second place, Justin and Phil have one of the drivers blocked to the wall temporarily, while on the other side of the track, Mike ends up having a long tiff with Shane as he successfully keeps Mike blocked. While Scott continues to take a huge lead on the Thunder, Phil and Justin team up again and trying to take out driver 54. It will prove to be a mission as Phil would slowly be taken to the wall, allowing the leader to pass with ease. Though Mike would try and do all he can to catch up to the leaders. As Phil Kramer continues to mess around with 54 around the corner, one lap later, Adam Hall would find himself majorly damaged and unable to finish the laps. Once again, Phil and Justin would continue to tag along each lap, slowly awaiting all the Wellington young guns to catch up. Kramer would have a go at rear-ending 54W again, but the uniting of Wellington would prove too much for Justin. Kramer would still stick in there until Michael would nail the race leader Scott into Phil. This is now Mike's opportunity to make some good ground to catch up as things get intense into the final lap. Justin attempts to block Blake with 52W nailing him from behind, while Mike finds himself in a precarious position, unable to take out Scott McIntosh because of the Wellington drivers surrounding him. Scott and Blake Elliott would go on to successfully win the race, with Michael coming third. The boys give a round of applause to the drivers as Mike reflects back on the amazing journey.
I had one amazing time in Palmerston North. The whole Terrapin Thunder and the team and the drivers, the crew, just everyone involved, all the family. It was just absolutely awesome. All of us coming together, helping each other out. With Dougie, the Terrapin Thunder manager, just did a huge amount of effort to get us up there, a huge amount of organising. He did blooming awesome to get it all together and happening, and just with everyone else, everyone just helping out and being a big team. It was blooming awesome. Really bring us all together, really to help each other out, and we just enjoyed our whole time up there together. It was definitely a time to remember.
Before the crew fully pack up after their normal maintenance, everyone heads up to the crowd to witness the grand final between the Rotorua Rascals and the Palmerston North Pumas. It was a battle of epic proportions as the Rascals take the fight to the current team's champions. Bodies torn apart, stock cars up the wall, and gang-ups.
Yeah, grand final, it was an awesome race to watch both the teams just put everything into it.
But in the end of the battle, Rotorua would seal the deal and become the 2014 Stockcar Team's champions. This officially brings an end to the Palmerston North team's competition.
Yeah, Rotorua, they did blooming awesome. They deserved the win, and it's good to see someone else take the championship away for the team's champs. And next season we'll be shooting up the Rotorua for the team champs up there. It was blooming awesome effort by those guys.
You can't hit yourself with that though. Like that fits it perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's because it sits down.
It's lower.
Some of them have a lip on it.
That's how you clean a helmet, half done helmet.
It's this one.
After an enjoyable and successful couple of nights in Palmerston North, the 8N Performance crew came back to their home turf on the 22nd of February, with a special one-night only crew member, Josh Preston, aka Yoshi, to have a helping hand. Dino showing him how to do a couple of things in the process. On the scene today are the midgets alongside the Super Saloons, but tonight for Mike, it's about the Nelson Club Championship going up against his fellow Tasman Thunder buddies for the top prize. Mike starts ninth in the grid as everyone has a great start as Mike takes the corner.
It's good to be back in the home soil, back in Nowthen, especially after the big mission up to Palmy. It was it was good to be back back into it, back in on the Nowthen track, straight into it.
Michael is making massive work on the rest of the drivers as he hoons past them and easily catches up to Brooksy and Brad Nyman. Unfortunately for Nyman, he would take the corner too sharp, allowing Mike to straighten him for only a moment until Nyman's nailed by a couple of stock cars, pulling himself into the infield. Mike finds himself in the lead immediately coming into the fourth lap with things potentially looking great. Cody Teese is now on the fray as he looks to catch up to Paynter. Following Justin Hearn and Keatley Teese from behind. With what it seemed like everything was going perfectly for Mike, having a major lead for 4 laps, on the 4th to last lap, Teese would clash with Mike and take him out of the first place position. Though he was back in 6th position, he would get back on track, do a lap, catch up to Brooksy and fight him down the back straight and driving him into the infield for a second. Cody takes first place with his brother taking second. Eventually Michael passing the checkered flag at 5th place.
Oh, just frustrated. I got piled up between you and Adam.
Yeah, well, I went out and I fucking touched him, which touched you.
Yeah, I also, yeah. You went piled up.
I got no fucking fuel to get going.
Oh,
Just
really?
can't.
Missing and farting.
The crew, including Yoshi, deal to the mud as Mike brings the tools over to remove the steel to have access to the engine.
First time for an interview from Yoshi.
Yeah, well, I've been in the crew for a good 2 years now, and I'm chief scraper of the mud. Chief mud scraper. I scrape ya!
They remove the steel and Dean attempts to figure out the issue to why there is an engine miss to the stock car. So his first thought was to air spray into the electrical leads, but unfortunately they did not rectify the issue. What are Yoshi and Johnny up to?
Just to relax the bum muscle before work on Monday.
Relax the bum muscles before penetration. Reaching right down in there. Oh yeah, working. Get that on film, mate.
It wasn't until minutes before Mike's next race that the crew thought it might be wise to check the battery behind the seat to see if it was at fault, finding that the battery lead had come off the terminal. Luckily, they get the battery lead back on the terminal and Mike just makes it to his second race. Michael gets away on the outside from 3rd in the grid with Cody once again taking the lead. Cody and Mike race side by side to see who will take first position in the early stages of this race. Mike taking it for a moment and losing his spot back to Cody and Keatley around the corner. Michael doing what he can to catch up to the experienced and very quick Teese brothers.
The old Teese brothers, yeah, they're blowing good drivers. They just hung around their track. They just go for it. So blooming good to see. Good to see those guys hanging around, sticking together as brothers would, of course.
Coming into the 5th lap, Cody would get trapped to the wall accidentally by number 77, which allowed Mike to take second. Keatley does a fantastic job in keeping the large gap between him and Mike and cannot afford to make a mistake. The stock cars are then put to a halt as one of the drivers had to get towed out of the track. He would be unsuccessful at catching up, but would still take second place. Big Bad Johnny starts with cooling down the radiator as Dean works on the battery to figure out where the missing rubber piece is on top of the battery to protect the terminals from touching the lid.
So the terminal had come off?
Yeah. Yes, it had, and this other one I've just checked. Do you reckon there's always been a bit of rubber on here?
It's been a bit of rubber
on the top of here?
On the top?
Yeah.
You mean down the side?
No, just up here.
Yeah.
They could never find it. Dean refits the lid, Dino gives the bonnet a wipe down, and she's ready to go. Things get underway as Cody Test gets immediately spun out in the first corner, possibly being a major upset straight off the bat. Mike would escape number 77 after the mistake of taking the corner too sharp. Then Mike would approach Dylan Hall and pass Dylan and Justin Hearn within 2 laps. He would keep up the pace for another 3 laps and approach some carnage, but Cody would take him on down the back straight. Mike would push him right into the infield and continue on. 1 lap later, good friends Mike and Andre Evans are on the frail as they continuously pass one another for the next following laps for the second position. Mike would create separation from Andre over the course of the last laps and come second place 2 times in one night. Unfortunately for Mike, with him taking Cody into the infield and not exiting the same back straight, the Speedway officials removed 1 point from Mike's collaborated points to tie second with Justin.
Yeah, so me and my mate Justin, we'd done some pretty good racing that night, and we ended up tying for second place. Yeah, the night had got a bit on, and we weren't able to do the run-off against each other, which was a bit of a bummer, but we had the choice between either flicking a coin or next meeting we were going to do the run-off then. In the end, we just decided just to do just a coin toss and see what happens there.
I know, well, alright, my pit crew can decide. What do you want, heads or tails, should I choose? Oh, you don't mind me choosing?
Tails,
Tails?
Tails it is. One time turns around in the air. It's tails. It's tails. Woo!
Oh, nice pit crew. Save it. I was going to choose the other. You guys stitching me up, mate. Cheers, mate.
We're going to beat you
Good on you guys. We'll see you in that.
So was that me? Second. Running too late. Benny's running too late.
That's it, either toss a coin or do next meeting. Where we go.
Look, at the end of the day,
But the thing is, if I came third or whatever,
we had fun on the
but I
bike.
kind of ended up in where I was kind of coming.
Yeah, that's right.
So because of the luck of the coin, Michael comes second place in the Nelson Club Champs. It's March the 29th, 2014. All the stock car drivers come together outside the club rooms to listen to all the rules and regulations for tonight's Open Club Championship. 3 weeks prior to this event, the 8N crew head to Greymouth and end up having a terrible meeting, therefore affecting the handling of the stock car drastically. 1 week prior to today's event, boys head to the shed and attempt to find a solution to the handling.
So we went to the shed to sort out a few issues that we were having down in Greymouth with the handling. We weren't too sure exactly what was going on. The track conditions weren't the best, so we just played around and tried a few things with the different coil spring tensions, and just give it out, shoot it out to Nelson and give it a go and see how it goes.
Of course there is a downside. Even though the crew do make the change, there is a chance that it could go pear-shaped. We will find out when Michael goes out for his first race. Starting at 7th on the grid, the drivers get a fine start as they take the back straight, following Michael, who quickly gains 4th place, coming into the 2nd lap with the Reaper, Phil Kramer, on his tail. Ralph Gillespie would spin around Cuddy Teese, distracting Mike along the way. Eventually again hit by a few stock cars. He would get back on track and attempt to regain some positions as it's still early in the race. Mike would not be able to regain much positions as he would pass the flag at 15th place, but he would certainly be happy with the stock car itself. After the race, Michael has a good chat to his old man about how the stock car handled.
So the changes that we made after Greymouth, when we went into for the first race in Nelson, they definitely were positive. The car was it was going amazing. It was just honking along there, blooming well. I was blooming stoked after that race. We made the right adjustments, and yeah, we're definitely happy with it.
Thankfully, everything seems to be in good nick, though there was plenty of scraping going on with the old steel. The dirt on the track was horrendous.
Quite slippery, just about to get away with it. Not too bad, is it? We'll get a light and then we'll have a wee look, eh?
The boys push the stock car out so Daniel can wash off the thick dirt from the radiator.
What do you reckon? That's pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Just what's that like down the bottom there, Yeah, that's better.
They would push it back, but then not so long afterwards, the boys pushed the stock car out again so that the whole stock car could get some welding done to the chassis before the second run. The race starts off with Mike immediately targeting Gillespie, spinning him out for a specific reason.
Into the second race, I had Ralph Gillespie right in front of me, and with the being the Open Club champs, so I thought it'd be pretty good having the Alpha car win, and I knew Ralph Gillespie was going to be the biggest threat coming into these races. So him being from Blenheim, nothing against him, he's a bloody awesome guy, great racer. I thought I'd mix it up a bit, and thought he'd be the one good choice to have a bit of a play around, and spun him out on the turn 1 of the first lap.
But when he was hoping to get a better result now compared to the previous race, Michael received some damage at that first corner.
Ended up with a flat tire, which was a bit of a bummer, but that's what happens sometimes.
That damage would unfortunately affect his racing, slowing him down drastically. He would find himself being overlapped by the leaders of the race on the 4th lap, and then eventually by everyone else. He would block off number 77 for the time being, just for something to do, until he would push 13E to the wall on Biggsy's corner to allow Phil Kramer to finish the race.
Who won that one?
Keeley again. He's going to win He's won a fair bit, isn't he?
Keeley was right up there in points, of course. He seems he honks around that track, and he's just been blooming winning them all. He's been blooming going awesome, and with his brother there and them two sticking together, helping each other out. They're a hard lot to beat, really.
In the pits, Dean and Liam check out the wheel and the damage that it had received. Then of course Liam would remove and replace the tyre with one of the spares inside the truck. The front bumper bar also had snapped from the top of the bumper, so Tom and Dean would have an attempt to sledgehammer it back down.
Take the chunk out. It's almost compressed a little bit, eh?
Why does it get a bit of barb?
Yeah.
We're not going to hit it down, but I might got it down about.
You hit it down.
The engineer man, Ribbage, would then weld a piece of steel in between the gap temporarily until they get back into the painter shed to properly fix it. Later on, one of the boys had mentioned that he may have noticed an oil leak from the engine. The crew have a peek inside the engine bay to see any leaks, but luckily it was just a false alarm, as Mike checks the dipstick, showing there was still plenty of oil in the system. Dean fills the engine with water and they replace the whole wheelgate. Mike's now pumped for racing. Being fourth on the grid, Mike would quickly take first position after number 71 would accidentally distract 86, placing Michael far ahead from everyone else. For a short portion of the race, Michael would keep that position with the other drivers attempting to catch up, having full confidence that he could easily have this win in the bag. Into the fourth lap, he would come to the unselfish and sportsmanlike decision to back off from first position because of the fact he could not win the competition even if he did win the race.
I thought I'd mix it up a bit. Thought I'd see if I can get from another Nowfin car through for the win there.
So he decides to tackle the big bug, who has a history of winning many competitions, Cody Teese.
Michael's taking something, but taste of the world, and does he look me up? He does, and he's over! Cody Teese is over! Oh, that was a good one, but why would he attack Paynter? So Teese is over.
I thought I'd take the opportunity and stop them, mix it up a bit for the crowd and get in there a bit and get Nowfin car up there for the win. So I ended up coming across Cody and caught up to him and ended up rolling him.
Once he gets towed into the infield, Michael lets one more driver pass him before the meets of the checkered flag.
It was honking though, when it was, because I let Ralph pass by.
You were still there.
There was no one near me, so I just putted off.
Oh, she's all good. She's all good. Got to make the most of it, eh?
Yeah, like, oh, here he comes, we do a bit of a block job. And yeah, it was gentle. I was just doing it, I was like, oh, just pushing the gear on, then it's, oh, fuck.
Just had enough to get it up there, eh?
Oh man, did I get it? Oh.
Yeah, no, she's all good.
Yeah,
Did you just gradually go up? As I was going up.
Put it side and I just kept going.
And
like
then
that,
when he got
the
out
speed
there, I
just kept going, then I went like that, and just at the last.
Good rock, Cody.
Yeah, I reckon that. She's good. Well, when you had me going up there, I was fucking trying to hook it out of race gear so I could just drive off, but I think it stalled. She's all good. Like you can tell that you're going to get him though, coming out of like turn 3, you're just getting wider and wider with
That completes our night with Keatley taking first, Phil Kramer at second, and Andre Evans at third for the Open Club champs. For the first time this season, the Tasman Thunder crew travelled to Christchurch for a team's race against the Canterbury Crushers on the 5th of April 2014. With sessions of the always spectacular sprint cars and stock cars on the schedule, We were hoping to have an entertaining night until we had been informed by Dino that the forecast wasn't looking too great for Canterbury. Though we kept our hopes up hoping it would be clear, but unfortunately the rain continued to pour down. So after a couple of hours of waiting around, being undercover, it was officially cancelled. So the Tasman Thunder crew decided to go back to the camping ground and travel back home the next day. One of the biggest occasions for the stock car division, the Stock Shock, has finally come around on the 13th of April. With this event normally done on 2 separate days, the first day was cancelled due to heavy rain, so the Speedway officials decided to have both schedules combined into the one day. I'm trying to remember Liam Field's words on that day.
It's looking pretty ain't wet. Yeah.
Typical Liam.
Oh, are you videoing me?
With this being the last meeting on the Nelson track, we have a massive selection of stock cars for this meeting, including a rare appearance by 1NZ Jaden Ward with his watermelon friend. Super stock drivers such as the experienced Nick Fowler will also be taking the battle to the track. Michael chucks the neck brace on for one of his final races for the Nelson season. As the race begins, Mike would quickly get tapped on the left, getting nailed by Cody, losing the traction but would manage to regain himself quite well in that predicament. Then would easily take second position behind the leader Shane Harwood. As it would look like 1NZ would catch up to Mike, white flag goes down and 1NZ would have a nasty collision with 2 stock cars, resulting in Michael taking second place for the entire race. Mike and Gribbage discuss what exactly happened to cause the left side damage.
I mean on the side.
No. He punted you in the middle.
Because Cody got me, I thought there, because that spun my front back around. Because someone got me there, and another one came in there.
No.
The crew give the stock car a clean as Johnny and Gribbage scrape off some dirt. Mike checks the tyre pressure and gets ready for his next encounter. But before that, his sister, brother-in-law and their children decide to make an appearance.
Hello, it's Uncle Michael. Give Uncle Michael a high five.
Look, Uncle Michael on the cool car. Cool car. Oh, awesome.
We're gonna watch.
That's okay, you haven't done anything wrong,
We're gonna watch
though.
Uncle Michael race.
You want to see Granddad?
Hello.
Where's Granddad?
Hello.
Where's Granddad? You want to see Granddad? Give him a cuddle. Come here. Whoa. Come here.
Mike has a tangle up with Keatley, which would blow his tyre, affecting him for the rest of the race, being passed by numerous stock cars. Mike would be caught up with Brian and would be alongside with him for the next 2 laps, playing around and blocking each other. He would eventually take Michael to the wall, keeping him trapped for a short period. As the seconds go by, knowing that Michael would not be able to obtain any points in this race, he would still reverse out and carry on, following Brian. Mike would only last to the other side of the track until calling it quits, going into the infield.
Someone shot over my wheel.
Immediately, Dano gets onto the wrecked front tyre for the replacement, and Oscar, Mike's nephew, would join the big boys in helping his uncle out with scraping the dirt off the stock car. Tom and Dana would fill up with fuel, and Michael's all go.
Show me a couple of brothers.
As he gets underway, Mike decides to have a bit of fun.
I wasn't really going anywhere with points. So I thought I'd have a play around with pretty much anything that wasn't Nowfin car, because obviously I wanted to get a Nowfin car through for the win and stick by those boys. So I had a bit of a play with a Wellington car, just with a bit of blocking. We had a bit of a tiff there.
Michael soon afterwards would go crazy and decide to create some damage.
Near the end of the race, I gave one of the Westport guys a bit of a hit there and carried on from there and just mixed it up a bit there. It was a good mixed up last race.
As soon as Mike drives off from the wreck, number 46 comes from behind this time and takes Mike to the infield. The red lights obviously go on to tow the wrecked 79 car into the infield. She's all go again as Michael finally gets into the swing of things on the 5th lap.
Here comes the cockpit again, though. So Marshall goes. There's the 46 car Levine going through from 2. There's the 27 car.
As he completes the final lap, we would learn that Shane Harwood would win the stock shock with Ben Smith at 2nd and Phil Kramer at 3rd.
Goes through, so does Paynter.
That puts an end to our final meeting in Nelson as the 8 End Performance crew head to Greymouth for one last dash for the season.
Like half a mil.
I will give it now for right go.
We are upon the final meeting for this season at Greymouth on the 24th of April 2014 as Mike participates in the annual King of the Coast, which should be a doozy. Michael puts the accelerator down, being 12th on the grid amongst a huge selection of drivers as the action gets underway.
All my friends, you're the low rider. The low rider is a little higher.
Mike eventually crossing the finishing line at 6th place. Everything seems to be all good in the pits. With all the excess dirt that the stock cars received, Dean would clean out the radiator and the boys would be left waiting for the next encounter. The race gets underway as 98 from Christchurch would would thoroughly enjoy pulling himself up the wall as Mike makes the chase to gain a higher position, being placed at the back of the grid. Immediately, there would be no joking around in this race. The race gets going again as Mike would catch up to number 68 and 74 from Greymouth after a lap and would continue to race alongside them for 2.5 laps. It would pass him with ease down the straight, but would get spun out by the man himself. Mike would put the pedal down again and pass a handful of stock cars to obtain a reasonable position in the race. Eventually catching up to 68 GM again and attempt to nudge him to the wall and down the track before the checkered flag came down. Once again, the Stockcar is left in dirt, but apart from that, no issues whatsoever as the crew sit back for a wee bit and have a few conversations before Mike gets into the beast for his final race for the 2013-2014 season.
Hello, Simon. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad.
That's good. Filthy.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Mike takes off from the front of the grid as the final battle begins. After an intense battle trying to keep the top spot, Michael would take the checkered flag.
Yeah, it was good to get that last race. Managed to get the win. That was awesome. It was a great way to end the season for me, really. Managed 4th overall for King of the Coast. Definitely a good way to end the season.
Good driving.
Oh, that was intense. And then when I get the flag and the guy was like, "Oh, we'll have to wait." I got that. Like, no, that's sweet. Oh yeah, it's a good race, isn't it?
Yeah, good race.
With that said, that puts an official end to the 2013-2014 Speedway season for Michael Paynter and the 8N Performance crew. Going off in a bang finishing his final match with a pleasurable win not only for Mike but for the entire crew. As far as Mike's highlights are concerned, I have one last sit down with him and reflect back. What was your highlight through the season?
A highlight? Well, my highlight, what I would definitely have to say that it would have been the Palmerston North team champs, hands down. That was just a huge, amazing experience, going up there with all the team, all the people up there, all the friends, family, crew, everything. The whole experience was just amazing, and I look forward to going up to Rotorua for the team champs up there next season.
With all the ups and downs, success through the 6 months, what do you think of your 2013-2014 season overall?
Well, I think it was the best season I've had yet. It had its ups and downs with various bits and pieces, but overall it was well and awesome. Yeah, I loved it. I look forward to getting into the next season. And well, yeah, I couldn't have done it without the pit crew and sponsors and family and friends, everyone involved, helping me get through this. Huge thanks to all my pit crew for getting me through the season and helping me out, getting the car on the track, or even meeting. Dad Dean Paynter, Dean Ratt, Stephen Gribbage, Liam, Tom, John Paynter, thanks to all those guys. I would have never done it without those guys. And also a huge thanks to the sponsors for just helping me out with all various different bits. I definitely couldn't have done it without you guys. Dean Truck Services, Simon Paynter, Steve from Lift and Shift, Bernie Earl Electrical, Parker Panel Paint, John Painter Builders, Repco Mochiweka, TWL, and Easy Steel. Yeah, all those ones. I would have never been able to do this or get into the sport without you guys. You've made it all happen for me. Thank you all hugely for everything, really. And also, bigger thank you, huge thank you to my gorgeous, amazing wife, just for all of her support, and little Isabella looking after her while I'm racing at times. Without your support and just pushing me forward all the time, and you're the most amazing wife in the world, and thanks for letting me spend all the money that you don't know about. It's fine. Put it there.
We're stuck in a place so dark you can hardly see the manner of matter that splits with the words I breathe. And as the rain drips, acidic questions around me, I block out the sight of the powers that be and duck away into the darkness. Time's up, I wind up in a rusted world with eyes shut so tight that it blurs into the world of pretend. And the eyes ease open and it's dark again.